Brian Little.
Yo, what's up, Pride Nation? Back at you with another video. On today, this is Raw Detroit. You already know what we do on this channel. We talk prospects and we talk ways that the Lions could ultimately get better. And definitely, if you like the content and you like what we're putting out there, make sure you hit that subscription button, subscribe to the channel, and also click the like button. It's free and it don't cost you a thing. All right, guys, we're going to get right into this video. This video is about Chase Brown, but we got to talk about ultimately the Detroit Lions running back situation, because it is a reason why we're talking about running back Chase Brown. Now, when I talk about these prospect guys, I'm not saying that the Lions are going to draft this guy. Basically, what I'm telling you is that this is a prospect that you could possibly look at in the later rounds. He could be one of those running backs that you take in the later rounds that could be a steal for you. So you just never know, you know. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you want to see your Detroit Lions get better, and you want to see production out of the running back position in Detroit. Now, the last time the Lions had a 1,000-yard running back was with Reggie Bush, and we all know he did that in 2013. But since then, nobody else has been able to rush over 1,000 yards. And right now, currently, I believe Jamal Williams is closing in on 600 yards. So if Jamal ends up getting to 1,000 yards, that's going to be crazy. But it could happen. The season is not over. The season is still young. And the running back situation is still a situation. Now, the Lions could decide to bring back Jamal Williams because he is on the last year of his deal. They could sign him to a new 2 or 3 year deal and bring him back and allow him just to be the RB1. Pretty much right now, I think Jamal Williams is, 27 years old. So right now, currently, he's in his prime. So this is a good time for Jamal Williams to get, I guess, a bigger deal for himself. Because he has been producing. He has been the number 2 running back for the Lions the past couple seasons, but eventually he ends up taking the RB1 role over because Swift can't stay on the field. We know that Swift has all the talent in the world. We love him in Detroit, and we want to see him out there being explosive, but sometimes he just can't give you the production because he can't stay out there. And if he can't stay out there, then you have to really, really decide on what you're going to do in the offseason. Now, you could decide to go get a free agent running back. You could decide to draft a running back. You could decide to keep the guys that you have. You don't have to do anything. You could just stay put and draft all defensive guys. That's going to be totally the Lions' prerogative on what they want to do, what they feel the Lions should be doing in 2023. But when you look at it and you're a smart GM, you know at the end of the day that you got to get some production out of the running back position. You need a guy that can produce. You need a guy that's going to be durable, a guy that you can depend on and count on. Do guys get injured and hurt? Yes, of course they do. A lot of these running backs get dinged up. They get hurt. But at the same time, a lot of these guys play through injuries. And if you can't play through an injury, then I totally understand that. I totally understand that. That doesn't make you less of a man because you can't play through a certain injury. That just means that you can't go. If you can't go, you can't go. But the Lions need to really, really think this offseason on what they're going to do. Whether they're going to bring Jamal Williams back and just allow him to be the RB1, or they decide to draft a running back that they feel that would be able to handle the workload, because that's what you want. You want a running back that you can hand the ball off to at least 20 times in a game, at least 20, you know, to me, for a running back to be effective in a football game, they should be carrying the ball anywhere between 15 to 25 times in a game. And it doesn't have to be all carries. It could be catching out the backfield as well. But that's what you need. And right now, DeAndre Swift, who is supposed to be the RB1, he can't give you that right now. Right now, they're playing him on a limited count, snap count. And that's not helping us as a team because we need the explosiveness that DeAndre Swift provides. I mean, yes, you know, Jamal Williams has been doing well, but he's not an explosive running back. He's a solid running back, but he's not explosive. He had the one big run this season. I think it was over 50 yards. And that's probably one of his biggest runs that he's had since he's been in Detroit. But I don't look at Jamal Williams as that explosive running back. He can get the job done. If you continue to feed him, he can wear down the defense. But you need to ultimately think about what you want to do with the running back position in the future. You need to think about these things if you're the Lions. And that's the reason why I want to talk about Chase Brown, because I think that he's one of those guys that you can draft maybe in the 5th, 6th round. Maybe this guy's a later round draft pick that you can pick up possibly that it can help this team, because he has all the intangibles that you want out of a running back. Chase Brown is an explosive running back. He has great vision, burst and speed he has. Brown is a home run threat. He has that willingness to play through the contact. He has a track background that you can easily spot out there on the football field. Brown is a durable running back that can handle a heavy workload. And not only that, Brown displays the ability to catch out of the backfield. Those are ultimately some of the things that you look for in a running back. Now, one thing I know too, because I know that the job of a running back is 3 things. Number 1, being able to know how to block. Number 2, being able to run the football. And number 3, ultimately being able to catch out of the backfield. And if you can find a running back that can do these things, and I think that that's some areas that he needs to work on. I'm not saying that Chase Brown doesn't have any areas that he doesn't need to work on, because that's untrue. All players, when they come into the league, they have something that they need to clean up or something that they need to work on. I definitely think that he can get better with his blocking and his ability to catch more balls out of the backfield. He definitely has displayed that he can catch out of the backfield. I saw that on a lot of footage of his tape, that Chase Brown is one of those guys that can do it. But right now, he's currently leading the FBS in rushing right now. I think he's over 1,400 yards. I think he got like 5 or 6 touchdowns on the ground. Blake Corum has pretty much been the man as far as with the touchdowns. Blake Corum has been getting into that end zone, and I believe he has like 17, 18, or 19 touchdowns, something like that. Somewhere in there, between 17 and 19 touchdowns Blake Corum has on the ground. But currently, Chase Brown leads the college football with the most rushing yards, and he has 1,400. And then I think right behind him is DeWayne McBride with 1,300 plus. And then you have Blake Corum, who is pretty much at 1,300 plus. So basically, if Blake Corum has a 200-yard game against the Fighting Illini, because I believe that they play this Saturday coming up, if Blake Corum rushes for 200 yards, he could possibly take over the being the number 1 rusher in the college football. But he still has some competition with DeWayne McBride as well, because he's still been balling and doing his thing. So as we look at the whole picture, this is not a knock on DeAndre Swift. This is not a diss to DeAndre Swift. This is not a diss or a knock on Jamal Williams, because the Lions could decide to give him a 2-year deal, maybe a 2 or 3-year deal, and bring him back. They could do the same thing with DeAndre Swift and, extend him to be the scat back. Maybe they can use him in that type of role, because right now, when you look at it, DeAndre Swift can't handle the workload like we think that he can. And if he can't handle it, then we have to be able to get a RB1 in here, a young guy that can really handle the workload, a guy that can be explosive, a guy that can make explosive plays out of the backfield, and a guy that can catch out of the backfield. And if we got that, man, the sky's is the limit now. Chase Brown is a little bit bigger height-wise than DeAndre Swift. I think he's like 5'11", 6 foot, somewhere in there. And he's about 200, between 200 pounds and about 211 pounds, somewhere in there, between 200 and 211 pounds, somewhere in there. But at the same time, this dude can do it all. And this is a guy that you got to put on your big board. If you're the Detroit Lions, you have to find ways to get production out of the running back position on his team. The Lions so desperately need the running back to be able to get over 1,000 yards, because then you got a running back that is producing in the backfield, a guy that's explosive, a guy that's going to give you his all every time he's out there. And even if they're in a run by committee, this guy could still possibly rush over 1,000 yards. So we need to have a running back that is able to produce, able to be durable, able to handle the heavy workload of the NFL, because you will get injured. That's just part of the game. It's not how you get injured. It's when you get injured, because you will eventually get injured from carrying the football. So I would love to see the Lions get better, and I would love to see the Detroit Lions take a look at Chase Brown as an option. Not saying that the Lions are going to draft Chase Brown, but they can look at him as an option in the backfield as an RB1 or a running back to help out in the backfield. All right, you guys, this is Raw Detroit, and I'll be back to you with another video. Peace.